Up, it's arrived. So I thought I was going to be able to show you the poster properly, but it's been folded up for about 2 weeks, I'm guessing, so no. It's just a massive folded up cylindrical awesomeness. But this is still the part of the video I remind you that unless you buy this physical object in real life, you cannot get this class. You have to go to their online store, HeroMart.com, and buy the 2014 calendar. If you don't do this, you cannot get the class. This is the only way to get the class. Please don't comment, how do I get the class? Because I've shown you how. You've got to buy this. Sorry, I just get a little annoyed when I explain it perfectly well in the videos and people still ask the question. So I'm going to go and start training this thing and yeah, do a class guide on it.
So here's the ChronoCommander class. It looks pretty cool. It's got a nice little gun and helmet. The pet, however, is for being a founder. It matches the sort of set, but you can't get it unless you're a founder. So once you've entered the code, you just go to HeroMart and your HeroMart badge collection, if you've got one, and just find this badge and the shop. You can just take a look at the pretty cool items, this class, the armor and the special armor, and just take a look at everything here, and it's pretty cool. Various different capes. Yeah, so that's how you get it. They're all 0 adventure coins and non-mem, so you can just use them forever and store them in the bank when you want to stop using it. For enhancements, you're basically going to want to go full luck. Fighter enhancements might be viable, but I just don't think they're as good for this class. Maybe fighter on the weapon or just on the class, but you really want predominantly luck for this. It is, in a way, just a tank version of ChronoCommander, so the extra health would be good. But in terms of ore enhancements, whatever you do, I'd probably recommend one of the following two: Spiral Carve for increased critical hits, and Health Vamp for arm health. The health vamp will bolster your tanking ability, while the Spiral Carve will bolster your critting. Arguably the critical hitting is a lot more useful, and I'm inclined to agree with that myself. If we just take a look at the passives, we've got Endurance increased by 15 and all healing received increased by 15. So those two help to increase your tankiness, as does the second move. But we'll get to that in a moment. In terms of MP, attack while under the effects of Temporal Rift. The reason I do suggest physical is because all the moves are based on your physical damage, which is different from the standard Chronomancer, as that was a hybrid. I did the base stat comparison at my level. Chronomancer is about 100 here, and Intellect's 100, and the Endurance is significantly less, and it's weird. I'm actually going to do a comparison video since there are a lot of similarities, but also some cool differences between the two. So that'll be the next video. There's no rank 10 passive that's been confirmed. There might be, but it's been 2 weeks-ish and we haven't gotten a breakdown on the design notes, so there's no way to know for certain at this point. If there is, I'll put an annotation or something in the video. Now on to actually using this thing. So much like the other calendar classes, the first move is the lifeblood of the class, and it's also where you get your MP regeneration from. It costs 4 mana, has a 2-second cooldown, and stacks 4 times, and these stacks go to improving the effects of your other moves. Now, the second move is a heal, and it's based on how much damage you've taken while under the effects of Temporal Rift. Now, Focus is a side effect of Time Rift, and I'm not actually sure what that does. One thing to note is that it also gives you a 35% damage reduction, so you've watched how much damage he's been doing, about in the 80s, and 60s. It was higher 80s, so you get the idea. The damage reduction actually lasts longer than the cooldown, so it gives you an extra 2 seconds to work with. Though I don't think, based on what this class can do, many of you are going to be wanting the heal. The third move over here costs 22 MP and has a second cooldown. Yeah, it does damage based on the damage you do while under the effects of a Temporal Rift. Now you'll want to stack your damage. This is why crits come in, because when you crit it's about 3 times your normal damage, so that contributes to the effects of Temporal Rift a lot more. So we'll let it off now. So that's not the best representation of what this class can do. I, for one, have seen it hit a lot higher, even with just this sort of base setup. So we'll give that another go. All the crits look promising. Just with these enhancements and this setup, I've actually seen it hit as high as I think it was a 9,000 crit. There we go. So you get the idea. That's just what it can do alone. Now, the last move's a similar concept as the other two. The more damage you do, or the more... Well, no, it's not actually. This is just a quick little move. It's a damage over time, and the damage is based on the number of stacks of Temporal Rift. So I now have 4 stacks of Temporal Rift. I'll just activate Severed Rift. Damage over time 40, goes to 80, goes to 160, 320. A lot. Now watch this. Yes! It worked! What did I do there, you're wondering? Now, what's great is that one thing you've got to be aware of is that these moves actually consume your stacks of this. However, unlike previous calendar classes where there was a 4-second delay before you could actually use the move again, you can just use it from the offset. So what I was actually doing was being really crafty. I was stacking Temporal Rift while the damage over time was going. This was tracking my total damage, and you saw me get a couple of good crits in there too. And because I had this huge amount of damage from Severed Rift, I was able to use Time Rift Collapse, and I managed to get an 18k crit. Now, the problem with ChronoCommander was that it was a bit of a one-hit thing. You'd have to use your move and get out of there, or have a good team. Now that you've got this move, which you can just activate quickly in between and still get your damage reduction, it lets you live longer. The passives also increase your healing and health, so it makes it a bit longer lasting. It really is a more physical than a magical class. But you can hit quite high. I'd still say Chrono Corruptor is the highest hitting, but I think this can hit a bit higher than ChronoCommander for that reason. Could be wrong. But you get the basic idea of how this class works. And it's really cool. I am going to do a proper comparison video, actually just putting the two side by side and seeing how the differences affect it. Yeah. So I'm going to conclude the video there. I hope it's been good for those of you that have been wanting it, and I'll see you next time for whatever video I make then. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and take a look at some of the links in the description. Until then, bye.